Bet you thought I wouldn't be back, but here we are in the car. It's 2025. World Championships wrapped up 2 months ago. It's time to forget about that because, it honestly it just didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but either way, we're pivoting a bit. I'm a North American person. I care about the North American teams, so we're talking about the LTA. This is a full roster preview and power rankings for the LTA North. I'm not doing the South. I don't care. That is a garbage region to me until proven otherwise. That's just the facts, I feel like. It has been proven over and over. The North is effectively the LCS, so it's what we'll be going into. And let's go. Let's start right at the bottom. Number 8, only 8 teams now. A world spot removed from the region. Maybe it's deserved after they saw 100 Thieves play, but who knows? Either way, number 8 team in the LTA. I have Disguised. Now, this team is very new. They're in a guest slot. Obviously, a lot of unknowns with them, but we're going to go player by player for each team and then some overall notes. So let's get right into it. In the top lane, Castle, Korean player. Not the most impressive resume we've ever seen. Kind of an average to below average player, even just LCK challenger. It's not like he's awful. He had time in the LCS last year. 2 eighth place finishes back to back. Yeah, that's not the best look ever, especially because I think that Immortals team was probably better than the team he's on now, which it's arguable with Abe and Hui, but we'll get into that. Maybe we see some good improvement out of this player, but overall right now not looking like the strongest pickup that we've ever seen. So, yeah, I don't like the pickup personally, but maybe it'll prove me wrong. Moving on, XU in the jungle. The last team he played for was called Pulse Gooners. Just, that's information that I'm obligated to give you, I feel like. He had one stint with Dignitas in the LCS 2 years ago, going to a 5th place finish and a first round playoff exit, as well as a 3-15 10th place finish in a regular season, the split before. He's had good performances in the Challenger and Academy scene, high placements, but it just really seems like someone who, he's been at this level before. I mean, it's been a little while, but still, maybe we're just kind of seeing like an average to below average player filling up a slot. But again, this is a very different situation with Disguised coming up into the LTA this year, so we will see. But overall, not the shining beacon of hope that you would think of. Mid lane, Abadage. Definitely one of the better players on this team. He's a long-standing veteran that has seen LCS wins in his career, winning a split in 2021 with 100 Thieves. He's also made top 2 in the LEC playoffs last year, but he's also seen some lows, middle of the road finishings for a lot of his career. A very experienced player, but still, definitely shown not the highest points in his career. But this is someone who I believe can help the new players. He's obviously going to be reasonably consistent in the mid lane. He's not an awful player by any means. He's a good person for these young players to be around, him and Hui especially. So not an awful pickup for a team like this. I think some good, solid performance in a really important position can be really good for some of these other players. So I don't mind the pickup at all for this team. He's experienced, been in the region a while. I don't mind it. In the bot lane, Scary Jerry. This is a player who has seen success at the tier 2 level and college level, kind of interchangeable depending on what colleges you're talking about. Nearly winning Challenger in the last split and winning it before that in its summer split. He's only 22, which is rather young for the LTA, actually, which maybe that's sad, but that is quite young. He's never had experience at the tier 1 level, so this is someone that maybe we see a really high ceiling of, which would be nice to see. I'm higher on him than Castle and XU personally, because he's new into the scene. But again, as we see this team unfold, I'll be more confident with them. And now Hui, definitely the most famous player in this roster. Winner in North America as a mid laner, actually, on CLG, and a well-versed support player at this point now. He's been seen championships and success on the international level. He's known to be a great leader. He's been in the region for a decade, worked with many teams, built up new players. I think this is a great pickup for this team, especially if he's going to be, doing shot calling and all that. I like this a lot. Good player, perfect for a team full of all these rookies. Nothing more to say there. Overall, there's kind of a chance this team can be good. I have a sneaking suspicion they'll be better than some other teams, but right now, just not knowing anything about a lot of these players, I'm 8th is where I have to put them. But I think if Abadage and Huhi really do kind of shine and they can pick these other players up around them, I think there's potential. I don't see this team winning splits or anything, but this will be a fun experiment in the LTA. It'll be like a good feel-good story, if nothing else. So with that, number 7, Lion, the LLA honorary spot. I got some opinions on the players on this team, but starting out in the top lane, Licorice. I will never forget what he did for us in 2018 in Cloud9 against a Freak of Freaks in the World Championships quarterfinals. Thank you for that. But I can also not ignore the fact that he has not lived up to what we really thought he was going to be out of Cloud9, this region-dominating, top-of-the-line top laner. By no means is he a bad player. He's not the hardest carry ever. He's a top laner anyways, not always the position to be in. He's consistent. He's not going to solo lose games. So a good piece to build around no matter what. I don't hate the pickup at all. Top 5 top laner in the region, I think, still. Just, not the tippy top, but there's really no complaints with a player like Licorice, I don't think. Moving down, in the jungle, Adi, perennial dominator of the LLA, multiple championships over his career. But I just don't rate that region at all. They've looked like crap at every international tournament they've ever attended, no matter how good the team was supposed to be. I refuse to acknowledge him as even a remotely good player on this level. And not that LTA is some massive step up, but they have never shown to be a good region ever on the international stage. I dislike the region heavily because of their performance. Until I am proved otherwise, players that, even if they dominate that region, I am low on. I do not have much faith at all. So moving on. Saint in the mid lane. It's obvious he's never watched an LLA game because he just, saw his teammates. Oh, my teammates are champions in their region. He didn't look at what region. That's what I think happened. He was a top 2 to 3 mid in the LCK Challenger League last year, and I think he does have some potential still. He's only 20 years old. Very young, especially for this region. He could be quite a bright spot on this team if he lives up to any sort of potential and doesn't get griefed. And we have seen the LCK Challenger players not live up to hype before, but, we'll see. I have written here, sorry you have to play with bombs. So, tough for him, I think, to have to play with some of these players, but he could be a bright spot if this team is going to do anything. I think he has to even. Henna, a mid-tier LCK ADC. This player definitely could find success against the easier competition in a vacuum. The issue is he's playing AD carry. His support is, he's from the region of losers. Region of losers. Shout out the region of losers. He's not a bad pickup at all. I also still don't think this is a player you pick up with winning aspirations still. He's a very middle-of-the-road LCK AD carry, kind of known commodity, but we'll see, man. You never really know, but I feel like I know with this team. Lions. It's like he's named after the team or something. LLO player, yada yada. I will assume he is trash until proven otherwise is what I've written, and that is what I'm sticking with. I would have put this team 8th if Disguise didn't literally have people who have never played Tier 1 before on it. Overall, team has potential to win games as long as the anchors don't grab onto the bottom of the ocean too hard. Top mid and ADC can do things, but I just have little faith in the LLA players. I really do. I don't mean it disrespectfully, I don't hate where they're from. I just think their region has never produced talent ever. Really. Hopefully we could see a step up and maybe we could see some carry performance out of Saint and Henna. Obviously LCK Challenger and LCK caliber players on this team that could do something. I could see them peaking around a 5th place, but I don't know. I feel like in the end this is just a roster that's not built to win any titles, and it's fodder in the end. This team is not going to go to World. It's not going to go to MSI. They're not going to win a split type of thing. If that ages badly, then I'll eat a shoe made out of chocolate. Anyways, number 6, Dignitas. We love Dignitas, Happy they've been back. I like their logo, let's be real. But anyways, in the top lane, SRTTY or Surdy, I don't know how you say it, to be honest. Highly successful player at the college level, has NACL wins and CLOL wins. He's coming from Oceania, and he has good experience in the challenger scene and seems to have some potential. We'll see how well he can do. Top lane, not going to be expected to perform as much. You just can't solo lose the game for your team. That's really important. So I'm just hoping to see some good development out of him. First LCS season hasn't shown that he's an awful player. Clearly, he's been picked up. So that's all I got for him. In the jungle, Shaden, a player that has shown growth since his 2022 debut, topped by NACL spring win, notably with Surdy and Quad. So he definitely has potential. The FlyQuest Challenger team has already produced some LCS caliber players, even World's quarterfinalist caliber players in Quad. So again, another player we just wait and see, but I got high hopes for this top jungle duo, I think. In the mid lane, Keen, while he's Korean, don't let it fool you. This is an LLA player who didn't even win in that league that often. I am not going to be high on that ever. He was demoted from the LCK to LCK Challenger while he was there. Now he's here. Not really someone I would think a team would really want to bring in with winning aspirations, but oh well, man. Here we are. Not the highest on him. But he's not awful, but still, you know what I mean. Tomo, a part of that gross 100 Thieves team from 2024 summer, and specifically the World Championships. Not the biggest fan, but you know what you're getting. His history shows a consistent bottom 5 ADC with flashes of above average potential. Maybe he can do more, but this feels like an okay pickup, but one that needs some help from time to time, and that's really where it is. Shows flashes of potential, but his average is, below the bar, I think. Still just serviceable in the role, but, there are definitely better players in the role, and he also looked gross at a certain Worlds tournament. And now, Isles, another player who's had good results in the challenger scene, for the most part, an upper half support with any LCS stint he's had with consistent around 4th place finishes, to be fair, on some very good Cloud9 teams. Not a bad player. He might be able to serve as a good role model. He's been in the league a little longer, and Shaden and Surdy are very new to this, so he could be kind of that leader role. Overall, this bot support duo is kind of the definition of mid, maybe with a little lower on that than Tomo. I think Isles is not a bad player at all. He's just very average. And yeah, overall, this is a team with potential with its FlyQuest C players, but they're not really in the positions that push it over the edge, I don't think, especially because there are really good junglers in this region, especially with Blabber and Inspired. I feel like they'll have a really defined ceiling. They'll have 3 or 4 teams they never beat, and they'll beat everyone below them, but really not. I don't feel like they're going to push past that very much, but it'll be nice to see new talent out there. Not excited about them in terms of prospects of winning the league, but the prospects are interesting, so we'll keep an eye on them at the 6th spot. Now, number 5. Shopify Rebellion. What a name. Love it. I hate it, actually. It's a bunch of garbage as a name, but whatever, man. Not my multi-million-dollar company. I'm just a guy in a car. Top lane, Fudge. So we've definitely realized that Fudge is not the Zeus of NA, as he was kind of propped up to be in the beginning of his career. We thought that was his potential. He's kind of following Licorice's footsteps as being like that serviceable NA top, who's definitely, top half, top third of players. Easily top 4 in this league currently, and he's someone who can play a good variety of things. He's very smart about the game, adds a lot. Overall, a solid pickup. I really have nothing bad to say about Fudge's play on the average day. I think this is a good pickup for this team. Contracts. This is a player who's seen a renaissance in recent years, and I believe he's actually one of the best junglers in the region right now. It's crazy to think that this is someone who played at Worlds in 2017. He's actually been around for quite a while. He's not the rookie jungler that I feel like he's kind of personified that a little bit just because he kind of dipped out for a while and came back. But no, he's actually quite experienced. I think be a good role model for this team. I have no complaints on him at all. Might not have the craziest high ceiling ever, but there's no shame in having a 2-times Worlds quarterfinalist on your team in the jungle. Very solid pickup. Mid lane is Palafox. He's one of the more anomalous players in my opinion. He has a random LCS win and a Worlds quarterfinal in 2023, but everything else is 5th, 6th place every time. He's not a bad player, but he's a mid laner. You know what I mean? You know what you're getting. I believe he reached his absolute peak with that Worlds run. He's not going to ruin the game for you. He might carry a few, as you probably expect mid lane to do. It's not the role where it's just, he never feeds and he never carries. You're probably going to need to carry sometimes, and I think he can. It's just, I don't know. Not an awful pickup at all. Definitely has won, knows how to win very clearly. It's just not always able to play at that level, but still, I think a good pickup. Now, in the bot lane, B-Voy, a Korean CBL and LTA merchant, does not have the best LCS showing as of last year. And he's been around for longer than some people think. He's not actually that young, playing professional League of Legends, played for many Chinese teams a while ago as well in their Challenger League. Honestly, kind of a lackluster signing. I feel like if they had a better AD, this would really benefit this team, but I hope he does well. I hope he doesn't do awful, but it's just kind of lackluster. I don't have much more to say than that. So in support, we have Chaos and Zazel. If they play the Brazilian dude, they're going to lose. This guy was 4th, 5th player in CBLOL. He's not good. He's bad. It has to be that way. That's my opinion on that region and players from it, especially if you're not even winning it. Zazel, on the other hand, not an amazing player, but has LCX experience and success. I think you just have to put him in. I think he's the better player. Overall, the bot lane, I think, is the weak point of this team. And I don't know if there's much upside to their bot lane unless I get shown otherwise. So we shall see. But yeah, overall, the top side is quite above average, I would say. A lot of experience. As long as bot plays good, can be somewhat of a dark horse team. I feel like this is a team that can definitely beat some of the top teams given their day. It's just a lot of these players have very known highs and don't kind of crescendo out of them almost ever. So they top out at number 5, and now we'll get into the upper half of teams in our league, where the descriptions will probably get shorter now because there's known quantities. So at number 4, the 100 Thieves, like a guest slot or whatever, however that situation is going. I don't care about that. But starting right in the top lane, still, Sniper. Absurdly young still. Not absurd. He's 19. Absurdly young for the region. And he has potential to get better. Written all over him. Hoping to see great improvement from this year. Staying consistent with the roster except for AD. I think that's good, especially for a young player. No problem with keeping him. I think he's good. A lot of potential. Don't hate it. River, I'm not as high on River. He's kind of always been around the LCS and never really impressed me that much. Serviceable, but I think a lot of the top tier jungles really clear him. And for a team with championship hopes, I might have wanted to see a change here if they could have done it. But I get with the synergy, it changes it a bit, but still not my favorite player. Quid, definition of slightly above mid is what I wrote here. I was never amazed, but I didn't hate his play either compared to everyone else. Hopefully we can see more development from him as well. He's also on the younger side. It's really hard to say more. He saw some success last year, but I don't see that level of play cutting it again with one less world slot available, and that's important because, there's only 2 now for LTA. If there were 2 last year, 100 Thieves doesn't even make worlds, and the season's a complete failure. Not that they didn't bomb out anyways, but he's going to need to step up in this role. He just has to if they want to show internationally at all. But here we go. In the bot lane, FBI, a massive upgrade. Probably one of the best moves of the offseason, if not the best move. This is really could push this team to like that top 2, I think. FBI is one of the best ADCs in the league when he's on his game. Though that was sorely lacking last year with Tomo on this team. Stinking up important games every once in a while, and you just can't have that. I hope he does well here. I like FBI. Great, fun AD carry to watch. Great move by 100 Thieves. So we will see how that plays out. And Ayla, he's done some crimes on that rift that he should not be forgiven for. But on average, serviceable. Hopefully having FBI will just teach him to play better. I don't know, man. I hope it does because I like FBI. Overall, 80% of the roster stays, so hopefully, that comfort in the addition of just a straight better AD carry can really make a difference. This could be a team challenging for that top 3, top 2, going to international events. But for now, 4th based off of last year and not knowing where FBI is at with this team yet. So, into the top 3. Number 3, of those top 3 as we continue to go in order, as is logical. Cloud9. So, in the top lane, Thanatos. C9 continues to show they can pick the better prospects out of Korea, especially compared to the other LCS, LTA teams. He did play well, and seeing him stick around is nice, giving the region more time. I'd like to see that. So hopefully we can just see more team chemistry, more progress, as I think he really fits with the C9 identity of play. So we'll see on that. He's still early in, not quite ready to judge fully, but we'll see. In the jungle, Blabber, the best NA jungler ever. Hands down, a consistent force that is not only a great leader in and out of the game, but also play any role of jungler that he needs. Absolutely the bright spot on the roster, and someone C9 will probably never move on from if they can help it. He's a complete monster. I expect another top 2 level, MVP level season. He really is that good. You can't let a player like this go. He's a driving force of this team. Makes plays, sure, has choked in some places, but the bright spots are very bright with this player, and his floor is still better than most of the league. So, love it. Love Blabber. Big fan. Moving on. Down to the mid lane. Loki. Shout out to my dog with the same name, so he can't be bad. But 2024 is a top 5 level player in the LCK Challenger scene. On paper doesn't seem that amazing, but this is where C9, they just seem to pick the prospects that work. And if he works and lives up to what they probably think he can do, this could be a monster roster. I'd like it if they did that. I am a C9 fan above all else in the end. So that's where it's like other teams, they pick up mid-level LCK ones. I'm like, but Cloud9 I have some trust with, but we'll see. Moving on. Sven back in the bot lane. He's definitely no berserker, but he is a good cerebral player with good mechanics, and that's the role he's in. It doesn't ask for much more than that. As long as he doesn't misplay brutally, he's been around the block. He has synergy with jungle and support, and maybe we can see a renaissance of some older form. There is risk that, he's just fallen off. He's been playing for a while. The game's moved past him, but I think if we see even the average Sven we got through his time in EU LCS and then LCS and all that, I think that'd be plenty for a team like this with a lot of firepower on the top side, especially if Loki lives up to potential. Now, Vulcan, amazing NA support talent, one of the best, right up there with, Aframu and all the likes of them, if not mechanically better than some of those top players. Great synergy with Blabber and Sven. He's not always had the best seasons, but I believe he's still a top 2 support potential at all times. Floor is really high, smart pickup, adds chemistry, and can help build these other 2, these Korean players that are going to need to fit in just a little more. Overall, shout out to C9 coaching staff as well. It's great coaching staff. It's been consistent over the years. This is the if team. If Loki and Bot can play at a high level, this could easily win splits. This team could first seed it to Worlds. I always believe that C9 feels like they have the highest highs in theory. It's just whether we see them or not. And as of now, they sit 3rd, but that could change by next week if I really see that this Loki guy is a monster. Then you best believe we'll be moving up. All right, number 2, Team Liquid. All 5 players the same. It's the same for both top teams, so that's really cool to see. So probably quick rundowns of them. Impact, obviously rock the top lane. Newfound ability to play some more carry-oriented picks. I say newfound. He used to be a tank-only main for those that remember a while ago. So if he keeps typical form, he'll be a mainstay as one of the best tops in the region. No matter what. Love it. Love Impact. Great player. Still a negative win rate overall in his career, let it be known. But he fits the Korean style here. He's built up his synergy. I would like to see him step up the most. I think he is kind of the low of this team. I really do. Unless APA plays Kled mid. God of mercy. Ugh. But I don't know. If he steps up, this team's hard to beat. They're already hard to beat. They have good synergy. So moving into the mid lane, APA, fiery personality, love for the league. He has more growing to do, and that's great because he already plays at an LCS winning level around this team. And I like that Team Liquid is committing to staying with him. And I think keeping all his teammates will just help him. So just want to see growth from him, and I want to see no more Kled. That's all I'm asking. Yeon, shown to have a very high ceiling. Lots of room to grow as well. And spending a full offseason again with Core JJ. Best thing for an ADC to do ever, probably, and getting better at the game. So I love that. And now Core JJ in support. What can you really say? Consistent MVP candidate. Great shot caller and teacher. Any team is blessed to have him on their lineup. There's nothing more to say. Overall, one of 2 top teams that keep the full 5. Amazing for synergy. And 4 out of the 5, I believe, are good enough to not even consider replacing them, except Umti. Hopefully we see some good growth either way, because I want this Fly rivalry to be, interesting. I think it's good for the league to have competition at the top. And you never know. This is a team that could do really well internationally and almost did really well at Worlds. Kled. So let's hope for more of the same and better this year. I'm dying. It's like 4 degrees outside. My throat's kind of messed up from it, I won't lie. All right. Number 1. Fly Quest. I love this roster. I love this team. Let's get into it. Bwipo, the variety and charisma king. So glad he seems to be happy and enjoying the game again. This Bwipo is a treat to watch. Quietly one of the best Western players ever, with wins in both regions, a very exclusive club. I think he can still even get better. He has a passion for getting better at the game and can really just throw things on their head in the top lane, which is a great quality to have. Inspired in the jungle, another EU and NA winner, a smart player who adds a lot to this team for support and stability. Always expect great things out of Inspired. I don't foresee that changing at all this year, especially with this whole team around him. Amazing. I really love this whole roster. Quad showed some impressive stuff coming off the Challenger team in summer. If we see more of that, this could be a very dominant mid laner, especially with the roster around him. I am still a bit skeptical, but not in a horrible way. More that I could see him not growing as much as we would like to see. Maybe that he, instead of like this, we see more of like that. Some small growth, but even then very serviceable mid laner at his worst. Great highs. I love it. Especially young players keeping their teams, very important, I think. We're going to do support first. Busio is good support who allows his AD carry to thrive. What more can you really ask for? He doesn't throw the game. Keep him for the chemistry. Keep him because he plays well, does his job. Love it. And in the bot lane, the NA savior, Masu. Masu burst onto the scene in 2024 and is now, in my opinion, the best player in North America at the moment. With so much room to grow in his young career, he could be the lone reason Fly goes to heights we've never seen from an NA team. I'm excited to see him play for the year, and I believe he is a lock for best ADC in the league. And I mean that this is the player I could see getting NA to really high highs internationally. This whole team is awesome, and Masu is the crown jewel, I feel like. So overall, this is my favorite to win a majority of the LCS splits this year. I believe the synergy they have developed will make them an absolute force to ever take down, especially in best of fives. This is the team that nearly took Gen G out of Worlds. 1 game away, and I cannot overstate how excited this team makes me for the prospects of NA at international events. Them against TL and C9 is going to be cinema the whole year. Love it. Can't wait for it. Let's go. I love Masu, man. So, some final thoughts, because we're almost 30 minutes into this. Thank you if you're still here. I think the top 2 are absolute locks, TL and Fly, to be contending for title each split. Cloud9's a bit of an outlier. 100 Thieves has some potential with FBI to take the number 3 spot, but they're going to need a lot of good play to move past that, I feel like. Bottom 4, I believe, will struggle heavily to break out. Shopify is the only team that I see throwing out a lot of upsets there. I think any team with LLA or CBLOL players is going to quickly realize that this is a horrible way to try and win, is what I've written down here, word for word. Disguised, I think, has a good chance to upset some teams like that around that 6th, 5th range in the league. It's really hard to tell them. I'll know a lot more after they play some games this year. And I think C9 has the outside chance to just blow everyone out if the potential is there, if they're on their peaks. This team has just always proven that is something that they're capable of out of nowhere. and it's fun to watch. Split 1 coming very soon, starts this weekend. Predictions out in the next few days. I'm very excited to see the matches play out. Make sure to tune in. Make sure to like, subscribe, and give me thousands of dollars via checks in the mail. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.